Hello guys, this is Bunny Rabbit, and we're gonna be playing Raging Loop. Okay, I'm just gonna read the front, alright. This game is a work of fiction. It is unrelated to any real people, groups, incidents, etc. This game contains violent, grotesque descriptions and descriptions of psychological horror. Oh! Okay, I read that wrong. My bad. So I don't know if we're allowed to show this, so I might cut it. Well, the music is interesting, y'all know. I like it. Amphibians. Well, I thought I might play this now because, you know, I felt like playing it now. I was gonna save it for October, but if it's a long game, I wanna like get pretty far in it, you know? Okay, so I hope you guys can hear me, guys, and I wonder what the album will have, but we'll see that later. Anyways, when I read the description of this, it reminded me of Among Us in a way. So I'm saying this is kind of like Among Us, but the visual novel version. Why did I read that weird? I mean, read. Guys, okay, guys, look, I didn't sleep well, okay?
Pekori.
Bow?
ようこそノベルアドベンチャーゲームレイジングループの世界へ。私は単なるドルに足らないインターフェイス的キャラクターです。そうですね。リカコとでもお呼びください。
Dang, that pause caught me off guard, okay? I was like, continuing the read. Okay, I am nobody special, honestly. Simply consider me part of the interface. You may refer to me as Rikako. Guys, do you want me to read it? Because there is voices, there's Japanese voices, so let me know in the comments down below, please.
ここでは初めてプレイなさる皆様にこのゲームの遊び方を簡単にご説明いたしたいと存じます。
Alright, explain away.
いくつか変わったところのあるゲームですので、最初はぜひとも全部の説明をお読みいただきたいと思います。
Oh gosh.
特に動画配信をなさる方は4動画やシェアについてだけでも必ずお読みくださいね。
Okay, where is this section, girl? Can I select it? No. It doesn't let me. Okay.
最後まで読んでいただけたら私のセクシーな画像が見られません。世間は厳しゅうございます。さめざめ。
Alright, girl. Okay.
さて、何からご説明いたしましょう。レイジングループはノベルゲーム。物語や展開やオチはとても大事。ですから、それらすべてを配信されてしまいますと、とても困ってしまいます。さめざめ、さめざめ。
Okay, guys, so obviously there's probably gonna be a block, and we can only get to a certain part, and that's where I'm gonna finish the Let's Play, okay?
かといって、お楽しみは大勢で分け合いたいもの。それは重々承知しております。というわけで、私どもは動画配信していただける範囲を設定しております。ちなみにその範囲は、最初のメインルート丸ごと1本、プラスアルファ。具体的には、シナリオチャート上の4、潜入の9、入村方法は、で、選択肢が出るまでが配信可能範囲です。
Dude, she literally did not say that. That was too long, okay? Specifically, you can only upload until the choice at 4 infiltration, Q entering the village.
相当な長さがございますので、配信のネタにしばらく困ることはないと保証いたします。むしろ全文読み上げる派の配信主様は喉が潰れないか心配です。無理はなさらず ゆったりお楽しみくださいね。
Girl, okay, you know what? You're right. I'm not gonna read it out loud.
ちなみに動画配信の折にはお知らせ機能をぜひともご利用くださいませ。この後現れる選択肢でお知らせ機能をオンにしていただいた場合、動画配信終了のタイミングで突然謎の羊が出現。ここまでよとお知らせいたします。そこで収録はお開きとしていただき、あとは考察やら議論やらをお楽しみいただければ幸いの極みでございます。
Alright.
ちなみに今はオフの状態ですよ。
Okay, reminder function on.
はい、オンにいたしました。また切り替えたいときは0導入のここに来てくださいね。
Okay. It's available throughout the whole game. This is so that you will be free to make screenshots and or record for yourself. Like Reiko said, we would prefer it if you don't upload the entire work. Please don't go beyond the set's location. Otherwise, please feel free to use the function reasonably and responsibly. Yeah, we're gonna be kind to the creators, okay?
とても長くなってしまいました。ここまでお読みいただき誠にありがとう存じます。
I did read everything, guys.
それではいよいよ物語の始まりです。
I just edited it out, you know?
限りなく濃い霧と血煙の向こう、繰り返される絶望と悲嘆の果て、人狼村の真実をどうかその目でご覧くださいませ。ペコリ。
Okay. Go on, let's go. Sunny. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I mean, it's never a good idea to do that, you know. There are trails for a reason. I just followed the roads, so I figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I don't know if you guys want me to read the bad words, so I'ma do it, but let me know in the comments down below. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. Bake, if you're already lost. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Forget it. Oh, I don't have the key. Forget it. We have to forget it. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget. Ooh, what does that mean?
もうやめやめ。目の前の現実を直視。
What's happening right now? You still lost?
人生はシンプル。つまりこの道のごとく、真っ暗で道案内もなく、進むか返すか。考えることはそれだけ。
Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Oh gosh. Still, I wanted to know where I was, at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Boy, why would you take a map if you don't know how to read a map? What you need is GPS, sir. But even then, that messes up, so... Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through. And that it taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Are you? Wow. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see, If you flipped this scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides, the asphalt below my sweet ride and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. Ooh, that's it. That's it, you're gonna die in the forest, boy. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was.
進むか。
Oh no. See guys, this is it. That's it, we're gonna die. I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. But not only that, what about gas? What are you gonna do when you run out of gas? 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit onto it. I'd also had my first close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. Guys, did you know boars are really violent? Yeah. So, he is right to be scared of that. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. That means turn back right now, let's go. I'd felt like it could smell my fear and did it to just make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some Venetian once I came back to civilization. Boy, why you mad? He can survive in the forest and you probably can't. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I'd gone on this stupid trip. What'd you do? What happened? Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyway? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abundant though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the street lights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Was street lights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'd have to look that up. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. A convenience store? Okay, go ask them if you can stay in the back room or something. I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently, even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. It was called Freshmark. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that though. Was that close to a settlement? Or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I just asked that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts, not to mention I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and... Whoa! The worker at the counter was so mean-looking, it was scary. That's rude. But I mean, she does look pretty serious. She was so imposing I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army corps. Hey, was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this how this place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Dude, why are you what? I mean, he's probably thinking it, but if he said it out loud and that's why she said that, I don't know. You better run. Shit, that was scary. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. You wanted to get beat up? It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationeries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It all looked normal. It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was the section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at a greengrocers. Look, I don't know what a green whatever store that is. If you guys know, leave it in the comments down below. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this? I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all, it was an unremarkable store. If you ignore the clerk anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Do you smoke in the store? Yep. She really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk and I'd be her god, the customer. Man, shut up. Who are you?
126 yen.
She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Maybe I had to get mad at her?
ちょっといいですか?
I don't think you want to do that, dude.
あ?
実は道に迷ってしまって。
I quickly turned meek. Yeah, I think that was a good idea.
町はどっちにあるでしょうか?
あっち。
いや、できれば地図とか。
ない。
Man, this woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ。コンビニなんて大体道聞かれるから、地図は常備してるもんでしょ。
I don't think you want to pry anymore, dude. She looks like she doesn't want to talk.
知らねえよ。ないもんはねえ。おとなしく来た道戻れよ。
もう数時間迷ってるもんで、これ以上はちょっと。
その辺の床で寝てけば。
On the floor of the store? Girl, what? She had to be joking.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで、道だけちゃんと教えていただけたら。
Dude, stop insisting. This girl's not gonna be that nice, you know?
ああ、もう、せえな。待ってろ。
The clerk put out her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time.
あったわ。
So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation.
これがこの店。で、十字路を北へ行け。しばらくしたら陸橋があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折してあとは直線。
この道？
んだよ。
いや、この先何もなくないです。
Did he just come back from there? Bro, that's crazy. Why is she telling him to go down the road that we just came from?
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
Excuse me? That sounds shady.
そこ以外なら？
富士吉村まで行くには峠道を2時間。こっちなら30分で着く。
Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. Dude, I suggest you take the 2-hour drive, okay? Just take it. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again.
じゃあ、こっち行ってみます。ありがとうございます。
金。
はい。
Are you serious? That's rude.
払ってねえだろ、茶のやつ。
I thought he paid for that.
ああ、じゃあ500円。
Dude, it was only like 100 and something. Ring Russell Jingle?
なぜ、お釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way, and left the store. He's like, it's such a big deal. Like, bro, it's just a bag, for one thing. You're trying to kill the forest or something? I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. He needs some Jesus. Following the directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. Probably wouldn't have noticed it were it not for the tall boulder standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. See, boy, that's it. That's where you turn around and you go home, or you go the 2-hour-long drive, okay? A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. See, dude, that's what's wrong with you. You got no sense of survival. The exchange from before might have pissed me off even more than I thought. I added an extra word. I hope you guys don't mind. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. Oh, are you serious? What? It happened about 15 minutes in. The view had suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflectively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. Ah! Did she do that on purpose? Ah! My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put to the greatest test yet as we basically tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Dang. Boy, that's it, you did. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But that was too big a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched onto the air. Launched. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Oh man. The vibration scared me. Okay. An accident where I was flung out like that was a first for me. The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad I thought all my bones shattered. Your breathing stopped, dude. You were dead for a moment. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down and my hand sunk. This grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Glad you survived. Hey! Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. Are you gonna like sleep on the grass or something? I don't know, dude. How are you gonna survive tonight? My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. It was lying on its side a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. Okay, look, if you fall down a cliff, how are you gonna get out? How are you gonna get out, sir? That woman actually tried to kill me. Yup, what'd I tell you? Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone, and opened it up. As you'd expect, I was out of range. That always happens in horror stories. Well, you're about to die. It's about to go down. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than I expected. A flashlight, perhaps? I could hear water too. I might have been near a river.
すいません
His voice is just so... I raised my voice.
すいません誰かいませんか
Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take away a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for us both to let the other know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids?
すいません
I shone my light ahead and realized I'd made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream rather. I could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach and the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water, dude, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Hypothermia is a thing, you know? The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I'd figured that crossing the river barefooted at midnight was a bad idea. But man, it was cold. I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. That was too close for comfort. That's it? Okay. Keep going if you want to die, you know? Feeling the bottom of my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. You don't even know what animals are in there, dude. The flow was fiercer than I'd expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked up to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight lying on the ground for some reason. That's not a good sign. Definitely turn back, you know? Or actually, I don't know what you're gonna do because you already crossed the river. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet, the user was nowhere in sight. And I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Most likely. Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there, practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right, the fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above?
こんばんは。
Oh no, right there I'd go on myself or something, man. I don't know. Start running crazy. I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made up of several boulders. There was a face speaking from behind one of them.
こんばんは。
ああ、人だ。びっくりした。
That was my line.
悪いんだけど、それ取ってもらえます？
The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか。
I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of voice.
Yeah.
Okay guys, we're gonna leave it off here. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let me know if you would like to see more of this. Bye!